evening, ladies and gentlemen out in the world. My name is Max Walk, and this is the Binge Brothers podcast coming at you live on this fine Wednesday night. As always, I'm joined here by my friend, my pal, my buddy, my best friend in this world, Mr. Kevin Corcoran. What's up, Kev?
Yeah. Raw is Corcoran. Let's go, baby. Hey, what's up, everybody? That's a tribute to one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, Chris Jericho. But this isn't a wrestling podcast, is it? Dang it! This is a movie podcast, and I'm glad to be here, buddy. Thanks
Certainly is. Movies, television, and anything we want to talk about. So yeah, we're back. If you have watched this before, you can tell that I'm in a completely different location. That's because in the last month I moved out of my parents' house. I'm in an apartment now, and that's been a transition. So we've kind of had to put a short delay as I had a lot of moving operations I had to go through and getting all situated, still dealing with work and everything that's whatnot. So, but we're glad to be back. We want to hopefully get down to a good schedule this summer where we can do this hopefully once a week. We've been saying that a lot, but this time we mean it. So
yeah, this time it's real.
I've collected Kevin from the dungeon. I've given him one task. That one task is to assemble his top 5 movies he's looking forward to in the coming 4 months.
Yeah, from the dungeon. I come from the dungeon. The dungeon of what kind of is, I guess. I mean, I'm on the second floor.
In between podcasts, I stick him down there. I make him watch movies 24/7. He can't talk to anybody. He can't. I give him popcorn and I give him water. On Sundays, I give him one Diet Mountain Dew, only a 12-ouncer, one can. Yeah. That's it.
And he literally has to feed, like he has to pour it into my mouth because my hands and feet are tied to it. You know, I'm sitting in water tied all the time. Not like drowning by any means. I'm just watching a lot of movies wet constantly. So it's one of those things where you do what you got to do, I guess.
That's exactly right. And, I finally called on him and I've allowed him out of the dungeon. And now he's here tonight. And he's ready to present his top 5 most anticipated summer movies of 2021. The summer movie season's back, Kevin. We've seen some nice box office hits in the last few weeks. King Kong versus Godzilla made $32 million in its opening weekend, $48 million in its first 5 days that had a Wednesday opening. And then just last weekend, Mortal Kombat had $23 million opening weekend. And Demon Slayer, I believe, it was an anime film from Japan, made $21 million, which was huge, showing that the box office can now support 2 movies opening at once. We still have a little bit of a slow May until the end of the month, although there is one movie particularly in early May I'm excited about. But we're looking at a summer movie season here, Kevin. We've got multiple movies coming out every single week, basically starting in Memorial Weekend through Labor Day. So, are you excited to get back to regular summer movie going with big blockbusters and the regular movie fare in the theaters?
Yeah, man. I mean, last summer's, I guess, summer movie blockbuster due to COVID-19, the top movie for me, literally last summer, it was nothing. But I think it was Palm Springs. That was my box office ticket last year. So
all streaming. That was probably my favorite movie of the summer last year.
What else was there last year? I guess it was a Chris Hemsworth movie that was released.
Extraction, that came out in April, so that was a little early.
A little earlier. Yeah, you're right. True. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess The Last Dance. The Last Dance was last summer.
Yeah, that was a pretty big event. Unhinged and The New Mutants came out in late August.
That's right.
I can't quite call they were movies that came out. Not very memorable. They didn't break the box office, but they came out, so they were pretty much the only summer movies from last year. But
we got King of the movie, King of the theaters, Chris Nolan with Tenet. I guess that was September technically, right?
That came out in September. Yeah, that's why I didn't include it. But that was the movie of the fall, I suppose. But it was with only such limited theaters open, and now we're looking at 3,000 theaters open in North America. Mostly the only theaters that are still closed are some Regal chains, which are opening more and more, and most of Canada. So the United States is almost fully operational. Los Angeles is continuing to add more percentage of people being allowed into these movie theaters. New York, I think, is up to 33%. LA is at 50%. I believe, or it's moving to 50 in a week, or maybe it's going higher. I'm not sure. But it's exciting. We got some exciting movies. And are you ready to talk about our top 5 most anticipated summer films of 2021, Kevin?
Yeah, man. And this is in tribute to, I would say, Chris Nolan. These top 5 summer movies. He did something admirable last year, a little early, but because of him, I think it's partially.
I'm actually dedicating my list to Glenn Close and her great rendition of "The Butt Dance" at the Oscars on Sunday. So
the
that's
booty
what I'm gonna donate. That's what. Yeah, exactly. Kevin, I'm gonna say you start with your number 5. And we will do this. If one person has it higher on the list, unless it's your next movie, well, the other person, let's just say punt. We'll punt it, and we'll talk about it at the same time. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
So if your 5 is my number 2, I'll say punt. Then we'll talk about it at the same time. So why don't you start? What's your number 5?
Well, I want to say, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do 6. I'm going to do.
Okay, you know what? Okay, good, because I have 6 too. I wanted to include this other one.
We were talking about this beforehand, and I was like, "Oh man," because I found one that I can't tell if this is my 6 or 7 or 8. I have a 6, 7, 8 written down, and it's like honorable mentions. But
you gotta pick number 6. We'll touch on honorable mentions later. Hopefully we have crossover.
Hopefully
we have crossover.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I don't think this will be in your list. Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds.
6.
Yes,
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
that's this summer. I'm really excited.
I like the pick.
That one seems like it was like a video game. I haven't seen a trailer in a while, honestly. But isn't it like as if he was in a video game?
Exactly. He's basically like a free. So he's playing like he's a non-character. I forget what the word is, like non-usable character or something in a computer or in a video game. So he's like a guy that would be walking down the street, but he like gains a consciousness and realizes he's in a virtual, video game world, and he inserts himself into the story of this video game, basically. So,
wow.
Yeah, the trailers have been really fun for this one. It looks like it's a great lead for Ryan Reynolds and a big movie for him. So I think it's a great pick. I mean, it's coming out in August. I want to say I'll get the official release date. Yeah, August 13th.
Okay.
From Fox. From 20th Century, I suppose. So this is a Disney and 20th Century movie.
Okay, yeah. I mean, honestly, I wonder if at this point, I don't know why I can't see him doing a movie that would just be stupid and bad. Like, I wouldn't say this movie's necessarily up my wheelhouse. It seems like it'd be a little bit of a risk. Is it like an adaptation? Is it adapted from anything?
No, and that's honestly what gets me a little bit excited is it doesn't have something to not to fall back on, but something to be compared to. It's not based on, a big video game, but it's it's its own story and it's in that world. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm trying to look because it was directed by Sean Levy, who
is that the Daredevil guy?
He's done a variety of movies. He did the Night at the Museum movies, Real Steel, which is a solid movie. So it looks like he's done a lot of, kind of family comedies, but I do like that first Night at the Museum movie. But it looks like a lot of fun. I forget, is Free Guy going to be rated R or is this
PG-13? No, it'll be PG-13. There's no way that's rated R.
I don't think that it has a rating officially yet, but that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. And it was kind of been the one that's been pushed back multiple times. So I'm ready for it to finally come out. Ryan Reynolds, he just has that charisma, man, so.
Yeah, it's hard not to like the guy. Yeah, I would completely agree with you. So yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Absolutely.
And then we can dive into this.
Whoa! I'm at number 6.
Sorry, I forgot you were.
I got my 6. I have my number 6.
Bad co-host here.
No, you're fine. I have my number 6 barely making it. It's the last weekend of August, coming from director Nia DaCosta, producer Jordan Peele, Candyman, the new horror movie it's a remake of a 1990s horror movie, Candyman. Truthfully, I haven't seen the original. Probably will watch it before this one, but
so bad. So bad. I watched it. It has like a good
I haven't seen it. I've heard it's got a cult following, but
that's what exactly it is. I wasn't into it. I mean, but 90s horror movies can do that to you. So
yeah, exactly. So this one is purely based on the trailer. The first trailer blew me away. It looks great. Yahya Abdul-Mateen has just been killing it in everything. He was great in Trial of Chicago 7. He was fantastic in Watchmen. Wow. He was killer in Watchmen. And he's also one of the leads in the upcoming Matrix sequel, Matrix 4. So, and he looks fantastic in this trailer. I can't wait for this movie. I've been ready for a big new horror movie that's coming to the theaters, and outside of some, franchise fair Conjuring and Purge movies earlier in the summer, this is my most anticipated horror movie probably for the rest of the year, unless besides one movie that is kind of horror / sci-fi, but we can talk about that later.
So, okay, is he from Aquaman?
Yes, he played Black Manta in Aquaman.
Black Manta.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that now. Yeah, that's a good one. I was thinking about putting that one in. It's just the original one just really turned me. I was really excited about it until I watched the first one. And my buddy told me growing up it was the scariest movie he'd ever seen, like his entire life. He saw it in like fifth grade, and it was just one of the scariest things. He watched it at like 2 a.m. So like I went into it thinking like, oh, this is gonna blow my socks, and it's pretty creepy and it'll be good today, but it's definitely one of those cult Donnie Darko type of movies. I feel like.
Sure, yeah, at least original. I think that
original.
Also, I mean, I haven't seen the original, so I can't compare. But having that experience, I feel like that also gives you a better opportunity to be excited, not even be excited, but to like this, since this could bring out something new that improves upon what the original was, and having this, 2021 landscape. So, yeah, that's my number 6. So, what do you got at number 5, Mr. Kevin Corcoran?
Yeah, man. Number 5 is Black Widow, starring
Scarlett Johansson. That's my number 4, so let's just talk about it now, and then I can give my number 5. So that's not quite a punt.
Yeah, I mean,
Black Widow.
I don't know. I guess what bothers me is I know that she's out, she's dead, which was an admirable sacrifice in Infinity War. I just thought it was it was Infinity War, right? Not Endgame.
Endgame. No, she died in Endgame.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
she sacrifices herself. Yep, in Endgame.
That's right. Yes. So she ends up second. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, it's gonna do justice. It's just been pushed back for so long. I like the actors in it. Florence Pugh is huge. I mean, that's gigantic because she's in that movie.
She's probably what I'm most excited about. Her and Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. ScarJo is just a phenomenal actress. She's always great as Black Widow, as Natasha Romanoff. So
are we assuming this is the last one for her? Like this is it for?
Yeah. That's a great question. So yeah, I'll give my initial thoughts and then we'll kind of touch on that because I have a little bit higher than you. That's basically an MCU factor. Is I'm just ready for an MCU movie on the big screen. This is the only one that comes out in the summer months. Shang-Chi barely missed it. It's coming out in September, and I've liked the trailers so much. I think that the cast that's put together is really good. They have Florence Pugh, as stated already. They also have Rachel Weisz, who I believe is an Academy-nominated actress, maybe winning, and David Harbour of Stranger Things fame, who's always great.
Yeah.
And the Taskmaster villain, can I speak? Looks really interesting. Definitely what holds it back from being higher is that Black Widow is more of a side character in the movies. I'm excited for her to get her own movie, but it's also a prequel. We know her fate. But I'm excited to see what it leads into because, it's been reported that Julie Louis-Dreyfus' character that showed up in Falcon Winter Soldier was supposed to initially show up in Black Widow, and then it was going to be a surprise cameo in this. But it turned into an introduction in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm excited to see what could that do. And it's also speculated that Florence Pugh is going to become the essentially new Black Widow of the MCU going forward, and possibly in the Young Avengers, since she still is in her early 20s, I believe. So, I think it looks really good. So that's why it lands on my number 4.
Yeah, that's huge for her career, Florence Pugh too, as well. I mean, damn, dude, they got a pretty solid future cast right now of who's going to be leading the way. It seems like if Florence Pugh is going to be brought into the fold too. That's pretty nice. It's cool. I like that. And then great. I mean, I'm trying to think what else. And do you want to go into that question I asked? Sorry. Do you think this is the last one? She's been around since Iron Man.
She had Iron Man 2, exactly. That was when she
Iron Man 2, yeah.
Outside of I'll never say never. I'll never say it's going to be the last because the MCU loves doing their fake deaths. I believe Captain America, Steve Rogers will be back. I believe Iron Man, Tony Stark will be back, and I think at some point Natasha will be back, and I think they'll make up something to take her from the Soul Stone. I hope not, but I can also see her as she grows a little bit older. Maybe she wants to take a step back from the action movies and do more of her roles like she did in Jojo Rabbit and Marriage Story. She was double nominated Academy Award in the Academy Awards for the 2019 year. So I don't really know. I could see it going both ways, but I definitely could see also a flashback type of deal happening at some point in some film, but maybe in the Hawkeye series. But yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Do you want to go to your number 5 then?
My number 5, yeah. My number 5 is my only film that is a streaming film. It may be punted by you unless you forgot it, and that is Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead.
Oh my god, I did forget about it. I went into theaters.
About it.
It must have Googled theaters, yeah.
Well, yeah, I just knew it was coming out in May, and I knew I had to try to find a place to it. And it was kind of battling with Candyman and Army of the Dead, and ended up going with Army of the Dead at 5. But yeah, I'm just ready for just a big Zack Snyder original story action movie with Dave Bautista in the lead, man, and with zombie tigers, with smart zombies that can run, and a heist zombie movie in Vegas. I mean, it looks bonkers. The trailer was fantastic.
Bonkers, yeah. It looks ridiculous. The idea itself, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say it would be even higher on my list if it was going to theaters. I think it does definitely hamper to know that that's going to be, being watched on my 55-inch 4K TV and not on a 50-foot screen, you know what I mean? But hopefully they can do some kind of release where they can release it in some theaters, and maybe it's in one theater around me and I can watch it in theaters, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
No, yeah, I mean, Netflix needs movies for 2021 that are going to be, people are going to want to watch on their service. I mean, Netflix recently just released a trailer showing all their movies coming up for the rest of the summer. And honestly, when looking at that, I saw maybe 4 or 5 that I was kind of interested in, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of huge names. I mean,
yeah,
this is Bob Ross documentary. I'm kind of excited for that. And the one with Jason Momoa. I said the Bob Ross documentary.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa one looks solid. We'll see.
I'm getting nervous, man, after you see movies like on Amazon with Michael B. Jordan, such a great actor. And yet
Friday, Without Remorse comes out Friday. That looks great, yeah.
You think it looks great? I think it honestly looks a little weird to me.
Really? I think I'm really excited for that movie. That just looks like a great spy action thriller. I'm pumped.
I hope it is. I really hope it is.
And then Amazon's also got the Tomorrow War, a Chris Pratt action movie that they bought from, I believe, Sony or one of the distribution companies. So yeah, they're going more of the road for like bigger movies mixed in with some smaller fare here and there. But Netflix always has one or like a few big movies around the summer, but they have their serious like more like Oscar type movies that come out later in the year, which I'll get excited for once I know what's actually coming. But yeah, I don't know, but I'm excited for a new Zack Snyder movie. So that's Army of the Dead.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too. Okay, that's a good number 5. Do you want to dive into number 4 then, since I kind of went first?
Yeah, my number 4 was Black Widow. So why don't you go ahead with your number 4?
Oh yeah, duh, that's right. Yeah, my number 4 is Space Jam. Oh, it's the Space Jam.
Whoa,
it's the Space Jam.
That was on my side list. Did not make the cut. Although I am excited for it. I'm excited to see what LeBron can do in this kind of big Hollywood role. He's obviously moving into producing, and he moved to LA. He signed with the Lakers to be in LA to expand, his producing role and into different companies. So I'm excited. So, what's getting you excited for Space Jam? Is it that nostalgia for the original?
Well, Max, let me tell you, and let me give you an answer quick, okay?
Let me tell you something, brother.
I mean, I guess it just looked really good. I like the fact that it kind of reminds me of what was that one movie that was years ago that was like, I mean, it just looks like a steroided version almost of the original one a little bit, I guess, in the sense of how big the scope of it to me, which I'm really excited. Like, I love that they're bringing in all the different Warner Brothers properties, a lot of them for this. It seems like they may be brief, but it's still cool to see. You know what I mean? I love that tongue in cheek. And just like, just showing things like that. And it just looks like it's got a solid cast. And I just think, anything that has that many glitz and glamour and bright lights and, characters, I freaking love I'm not Daffy, but, oh my God, why am I blanking on his, who's the main character?
Bugs Bunny?
Bugs Bunny. I used to love him. I did not, by looking at,
Looney Tunes are fun.
What'd you say?
I said Looney Tunes are fun. I mean, for me, it's just I watched Space Jam. I think it came out when before I was even born, and I watched it once, probably when I was a kid. So I don't have that nostalgia for the original. Not like I enjoyed it, but that's probably what showed me from getting really excited. But I mean, if you watch Space Jam a lot more as a kid, then I understand why you're more excited for the sequel.
Yeah, sure. Dude, I probably was like, I'm trying to think, probably 4 when it came out. So you would have been what, 0, 1?
What year did it come out? 2099?
Wasn't it was like 90s. It was right before the end, or it was right after the end of Michael Jordan on the Bulls.
Yeah, so I mean, I was born in '98, so I was probably in the first year or two of my life when So I saw it when I was a kid, when I was probably 4 or 5, but it wasn't one of my.
You're Finding Nemo. You had a bunch of things that are digital. I don't need no damn.
Yeah, I had Lion King. I had Spider-Man, and after I'd seen Spider-Man, I just was like, wow, I want more of that stuff. I didn't want to watch Space Jam.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Yeah, after seeing Spider-Man, I thought to myself, man, I need to find myself a redhead. At 6 years old or 7 years old, I guess. I don't know. At 6 years old, I remember that was the first movie that ever made me like afraid in the theater. I was like, "Oh, I'm a pussy." I literally am afraid of like a movie.
Oh yeah, I thought Spider-Man was gonna die when he gets stabbed in the chest or whatever. Oh, good times, good times.
That might actually was your number 4. Why movies is one of my favorite things in the world. I love seeing Spider-Man. I still have memories of seeing Spider-Man in theaters. Like I remember that, and with all my buddies and my family and stuff. It's perfect.
I have memories for Spider-Man 2 and 3, and I remember Spider-Man. My first one was like my first memory of being in a movie theater. I don't have I just remember being there and seeing it, but I remember actually going in the whole thing for Spider-Man 2 and 3 when I was 6 and when I was 9 for the third one, even though the third one isn't the best. But
sorry, as we go off on that road, let's get back to that's what do you call it?
So that was your number 4?
What's your number 3?
I guess I'll go through my number 3, which is a good one, a personal one for me, a franchise that's near and dear to my heart, and that is F9, the Fast Saga, Fast and Furious number 9.
Dude, hell yeah. You know what? I'm going to beat you there again. That was my number 1. I'm so fucking hyped for that movie.
It was your number 1. Okay, let's punt it. Let's talk about it then. Okay. Well, then how about we pause that and we'll wait until we get to our number 1 so we can talk about it. So,
all right. Yeah.
Kevin Corcoran, what is your number 3?
A Quiet Place 2.
We're going to punt again. We're punting down to our deuces because that's might be my number 1 as well.
Oh.
I think we have the same, and I think we have the same number 2.
Suicide Squad?
The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Right. This is definitely my biggest huge movie, blockbuster comic movie that I'm excited for this summer. Mostly because of James Gunn directing it. As soon as James Gunn was announced to direct a Suicide Squad movie, it jumped up in my radar as one of my most anticipated DC movies, probably right after the Batman. Those are probably my top 2. And wow, the trailers have just been killer for this. It looks funny. The effects and the way he shoots the action, it looks like he said he used the most practical effects ever. He tried to do everything in shot for this movie, which is awesome. I love that. I love not having just to fall back on visual effects and CGI, which is really gets me excited for this. The ensemble is phenomenal. He's teasing there's going to be deaths galore, so people are going to die, and this is what summer blockbusters are about, man. It's about big movies like this.
Yeah, bringing a bunch of people together. I mean, this is the first ensemble movie, I guess, since I guess Justice League Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah,
it's the first one since Avengers. So I'm excited.
Cool. Probably a new, fully new.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be one of those. This is definitely in the same category for me as Guardians of the Galaxy, which is funny. It's also directed by Gunn as well. I'm excited just to see it all. I mean, dude, it just seems like I don't know. It seems like DC's on a roll right now, and I feel like they put a good amount of money to make sure that this one is successful as well. It's not necessarily a remake, but it's like a kind of a redo. Is that what they're doing with it?
I mean, I think it's technically a sequel, but they're not. Yeah. They're calling it just the Suicide Squad, so they're not like calling it number 2. They're really trying to push it as its own thing, almost like a loose reboot in the same world, I guess. Which I think is probably the right move. You know, don't erase what you've done, but just try to move forward and build your own things. But yeah, I mean, with Margot back as Harley Quinn, John Cena looks great as Peacemaker. I'm excited to see what happens with him, is knowing that we have a TV show with him, limited series coming next year. Idris Elba looks fantastic, and I love all these small guys like getting Pete Davidson, David Dastmalchian in these roles. I mean, it looks so fantastic, and obviously Viola Davis is Amanda Waller. She's just an amazing actress. So just get her back was obviously crucial.
Yeah, man. In any movie, I mean, David Ayer's out of it too. I mean, it's gonna be an interesting film. I'm excited about it. All right, dude. Then what was your number? And I also
talking about F9
recently too. Anything with Harley Quinn recently?
Birds of Prey was really good. I agree.
So yeah, dude. What's next for? Also, Rick Flag's back too. I really liked Rick Flag. I just thought they did a good job of keeping new people and bringing in big new people as well. So. I'm
excited that Captain Boomerang is back with Jai Courtney. I think that he was one of the best parts of the first movie. So I'm excited to see him. I think that he's the perfect type of character for James Gunn to play around with. So
yeah.
And how are we not talking about King Shark? The best part of the trailer, voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
Oh,
King Shark looks fantastic.
I didn't know that.
Sylvester Stallone, baby. Yeah.
Wow. DC and Marvel. Stallone.
Yeah. I love that they made him big. He's a thick boy, and he's just eating people's heads and going to town. I mean, gosh, I just am so pumped for this.
Yeah.
And so that's both of our deuces. So that would maybe be the consensus number 1 of the both of us, since our other 2 are flipped 1-3.
Yeah. And, do you want to go into your number 1, or do you want to go into my number 1 first? What do you want to do? What's your number 1 again? Who's your number 1 again?
My number 1 most anticipated movie. It's a deeply personal movie to me, and that is A Quiet Place Part 2.
All right, so we'll do this. Let's go into Fast 9, and then we'll do A Quiet Place Part 2. We'll end on A Quiet Place Part 2.
Okay, fantastic, because they both kind of have connections. I think Fast 9, that was your number 1, so why don't you start it off?
Yeah, man, La Familia is back. The hardest family. The hardest family in the entire country to kill is back for one more movie. I think they're going to 10, right? But this is number 9.
They have 10 and 11 both announced.
Oh, do they have 11 too? Jeez.
Hobbs and Shaw too. Yeah, they're definitely doing at least 2 more. I don't know why they would stop, because I think F9 is going to be big bucks.
Yeah. I mean, dude, F9 is the most absurd. Like, I love the reason you go to an F9 is because it's a definition of turning your brain off. You don't have to follow story. You literally just see action. You see cars that shouldn't be driving on ice, in Antarctica.
Cars with rockets boosting going up.
Yeah. Or like that can all of a sudden fly. Yeah, things like all that kind of stuff. They just do anything you can think of when you're on Adderall. Put it into a movie quick. And if it would be cool, make sure it happens, and don't defy laws of physics and all that kind of stuff. Like it's one of those movies where it's one of the most exciting movies you can watch. It's such a gosh dang dopamine hit. And I'm really excited to see all the actors in. John Cena's in it, my hero, my childhood hero growing up. You can't see me.
John Cena's in 2 of the top most anticipated movies of the summer. That's going to be a big summer for the man that you can't see.
That's insane. That's wild to me.
Also, probably just a disclaimer, Kevin. You are prescribed Adderall, so we're not advising the abuse of prescription drugs. But Kevin,
I was just saying, just in general, like the term. Man, thanks for telling everyone.
Some people might just think they were popping natties. I just wanted to be clear that you were prescribed it. So
yeah, guys, come on, seriously, cut it out. No, yeah.
Yeah, all of our 0 viewers out there.
Yeah.
Don't get off the Adderall.
Yeah, don't be doing this.
Yes.
So, don't miss
F9. Let's get back. Let's get back.
Fast 9.
I let myself get off. F9, yeah, I'm super excited as well. Obviously, it was my number 3, and I think it's a little lower, but it also beats out Black Widow, which I wouldn't have guessed. But it's kind of just it's because it's a franchise that I always go to the movies with my mom, so I'm gonna go to with my mom and my sister probably.
Yeah.
So I love having that connection, being able to come together with family and whatnot. So movies bring us together, baby. So that's what I love about it, and I've loved these movies since I was a kid. I've gone to them with my mom since I think the 4th one, I want to say. So,
Okay.
and this one looks bonkers. It looks fantastic action at least, and we have to expect that from this franchise. So
Yeah, dude. Honestly, all of them since the 5th one have just been bonkers to the extreme, and that's what I
yeah,
love about it. 4 was like the last, like, honestly, no. 4 was pretty bonkers as well. If we have to think
I
about
liked 4. 5 is when it really took off. 5 is still probably my favorite.
yeah, when
Besides,
they brought everyone back together.
yeah, but 4 was the one where they kind of brought at least Paul Walker and Vin back together, and that's when like it was like, okay, it's starting now. We know what we're cooking with, and then Fast 5 came in, and then we're cooking with gas here. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
and they're gonna keep going, and I'm pumped. I'm pumped.
All right, Max, end it. You can start this bad boy off. And
End
Max,
it. All
number
right.
1 movie of the
My most
summer.
anticipated movie of the summer is A Quiet Place Part 2.
Good.
Yeah, there was almost no question in my mind. It was probably my either one or two most anticipated movie of the entire year. The first A Quiet Place movie was, it is one of my absolute favorite movie experiences of my entire life. That movie is in my top 30 movies of all time. I absolutely love that movie. John Krasinski directed the hell out of it. Just being in the theater and having that tension where almost nobody's talking. It's so quiet, and I have a big popcorn, but I barely ate even 3 bites because if you feel like if you're chewing popcorn, you're creating noise, and then somebody's going to get you. I mean, it was just such a surreal and visceral experience, and just emotional. The ending of the first film. Spoilers when John Krasinski, sacrifices himself to help his kids survive. It brought me to tears in the theaters, and it's a phenomenal first film. I love the first movie, and I'm really excited to see where they go with this sequel. I haven't watched one trailer. I've stayed away from the trailers 100%. I don't want to know anything about it. I just want to go in and see what John Krasinski is going to do. Emily Blunt is one of my absolute favorite stars, and knowing I think Jaimon Hansu I think is coming in to the second one, and as well as another actor that I like a lot, but I can't. Oh, Cillian Murphy, is that who I'm thinking
Oh,
of? I think
wow.
Cillian
Cillian
Murphy.
Murphy. Okay.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy and Jaimon Hansu both. Yeah, plus obviously the 2 kids coming back. Yeah, and just that ending of that first movie where she cocks the shotgun and it goes to black, and they know how to kill these things now. I'm just
Yeah.
excited to see what they can do with that and how they navigate the world. I have seen the opening of the trailer, like 3 seconds, where I can see they're showing the beginning of it, and that's all I watched. It was in a movie theater before I closed my eyes. But I'm excited to see what they do with that as well, showing kind of the beginning of the whole pandemic, I guess. I can't think of a better word. Much more worse than obviously COVID-19. We don't have
Right.
monsters running around the world, but yeah, that's why I'm just so excited for it. I was 1 week away from seeing it before theater shut down last year. 1 week, and then it's been pushed and pushed and pushed, and it's finally coming. It was supposed to come in September. It was moved back up to May. It's less than a month away, and I'm so freaking jacked for it, Kevin. So why don't you talk about it? It was still your number 3. I kind of had to go off right there just because I love the first one so much.
No, dude. Honestly, you did a perfect job of describing it. I mean, Quiet Place is one of those movies. It was like the biggest surprise of like, what was it, 2017? It was like the biggest surprise, like,
2018.
surprisingly like amazing. Yeah, 2018, like surprisingly amazing, just movie that nobody expected to be as great as it was.
Yeah.
And it really filled the void. It's horror, also thriller. The fact that every time, every movement. I remember opening like candy and being like doing exactly.
Yeah, you're eating like one popcorn bite at a time.
Yeah.
I also watched it the morning of WrestleMania 34, which was a phenomenal day. Watching
that's a top
amazing movie
day right there.
and coming home and watching WrestleMania with some boys. So, that day will always, be remembered in my mind. And when looking back on my sophomore year of college. So
I think I saw the first one like 5 times in theaters.
I saw the first one
4
3
times
times in
maybe.
theaters,
Because I
and I've
went to it with
watched
a bunch
it
of
since
everyone.
as
I
well.
went into it with like everybody.
Yeah,
Like
I
all my
saw it by
buddies.
myself. Then I brought 2 friends to it. I drove to Des Moines. I saw it in D-Box. The only time I've ever been in D-Box, where the seat moves along with you and like vibrates and like moves along with the movie.
Oh wow.
I mean, I had to see it. I had to do the experience because I love the movie so much, and I wanted to, see. It's one of the. I think that the only movie I've seen more in theaters is Avengers: Endgame, which is obviously like in my top 10 movies of all time. So, yeah, man, this is gonna be good. I'm so glad that they have John Krasinski back directing. I assume he'll have a small role in the past, the beginning of the whole pandemic starts with the
I think
monsters.
somebody did say he is confirmed in it, probably just looking in the past. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure it's a very small role, 5 to 10 minutes of that early stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome, man. It's one of the big ones. It's like filling. It's gonna be a really good one. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah. So those are our lists. I would say the top 3 are The Suicide Squad, F9, and A Quiet Place Part Dos.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few honorable mentions here, Kevin. A few of mine right off the bat. Wrath of Man comes out May 7th, just I think a week from Friday. That is Guy Ritchie's new movie with Jason Statham.
Oh,
I'm
that's
super pumped for
right.
that. It's not getting much talked about. The trailer just dropped like a month ago or less than a month ago. I am pumped for this. I love Guy Ritchie and especially when he does his action thriller, his gritty, like, thrillers with a bunch of moving pieces here and there, like Snatch and like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and like Rock and Rolla. Another one I want to mention is Old, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh, okay.
Some people I really like that's coming out in July, and they dropped a trailer for the Super Bowl. He's hit and miss, so there's no way I could have put that on my list, but I am looking forward to it because when he hits, he hits. When he misses, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to The Green Knight. Green Knight, that's an A24 movie starring, oh gosh, I think it's the guy from, I want to say Slumdog Millionaire, but I don't remember. But it just looks really badass. It's like a medieval like war movie. He's got like a battle axe and he rides a horse, and it looks
Oh, cool. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. The trailer came out a while ago. That could come out in July as well. And there's no trailer yet, but I'm really looking forward to Snake Eyes, this G.I. Joe Origins movie. It's got in the lead role. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. It's a guy who I love, and Henry Golding.
Oh, that's
This man,
right.
Henry Golding, is my number one, my only pick to become the next James Bond. He is British. He's got swagger. He's got stealth. He's a legitimate star. I loved him in Crazy Rich Asians. I loved him in A Simple Favor. I really liked him in Last Christmas, which it was panned a lot, but it's a guilty pleasure for me. I love that movie with him and Emilia Clarke, and I'm excited to see him get an action movie on his own, and hopefully this leads him to get that James Bond role. But what other movies were you looking at, Kev, for the summer?
That's it. I literally have no other ones. I was kind of quick with it, and they had no pictures, so I went by like what I remember from looking at like trailers and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Just a few more to throw out. In the Heights, new musical, Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical, looks really interesting, and The Conjuring, Devil Made Me Do It. I love both the first regular Conjuring movies outside of the spin-offs. Hopefully that's good. And Bios, a sci-fi film, Bios, starring Tom Hanks. No trailer yet, but not a movie that you're used to seeing for Tom Hanks. So I'm excited to see what they got there. It could be terrible, but it could also be really cool. So that's just what I'm keeping my eyes on. But Kevin, that is our show. That's our top 6. We may have to retitle the whole thing.
Like 8, yes,
movies. Yeah. I mean, I added a lot of honorable mentions there as well. But I'm glad to be back here, Kevin.
We under-promise and over-deliver.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. We will try to set up a time in the next week to do another show. We'd love to come back and do it, with both of our busy schedules. So, Kevin, give a quick shout out. Where can they find you online, my friend?
Yeah, man. One, I'm watching The Looming Tower right now, so I have to give a shout out. Looming Tower is a freaking great show. Max watched this a couple years ago. So recommend that if anyone hasn't seen that. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Kevin Corcoran right here, the green. Boop, oh, boop, boop.
Bada boom.
That's the name, and
change that as well to give it a little bit more of a visual cue there. Yeah, and you can find me at ZwakMax on Twitter. Give me a follow. And I will shout out Invincible on Amazon Prime. Really good superhero animated show that's going on right now. So, yeah, this has been Binge Brothers episode number 12. Our top 5 movies of the summer we're looking forward to. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on the Binge Brothers. Peace.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.